and welcome to Tutorial 6, creating a chord progression in GarageBand on an iMac and iPad. I'm Little Murphy and I'll be taking you through how to record via a MIDI keyboard and also musical typing on the iMac first. So we'll record the piano part, edit the chords within the track, then copy it and paste it into the guitar and bass part, and then add in some drums. So let's record our keyboard part with the chords C, A minor, F, G. Okay, so we have a 4-chord progression here. So what I'll do next is I'm going to create a new track and we're going to make this our guitar track. So we'll leave it on Play Sounds from your Mac, the first option. Okay, and click Create. And what I'm going to do is change this to a guitar sound. So I've selected guitar and then acoustic guitar. And what I'm going to do is copy the loop I've already recorded. So as you can see, it's recorded here on the piano roll. Remembering that if it comes a little bit before bar 1, you have to move them so they start on bar 1 so you can hear the first chord of bar 1. Remember, if you prefer to work in the score, you can open it up and move the notes around if you need. So the first chord that I've recorded here is C chord, A minor chord, F chord, and then our last chord is G chord. So if we want to neaten up those notes, we can go about editing them. So what I'm doing here is going Command on my iMac keypad and then pressing click so I can add in notes or edit and change the notes if I need. I can simply drag them over to the bar if they need to start in bar 2. So I'm just dragging them over to neaten up the score. But sometimes I find it a lot easier to just delete those notes and then put them in the place that I need. So if I select, say, a semi-breve or whole note, I can add them in. But it works a lot better if you delete the notes first. So as you can see, if I add it in, it'll just add to the bar. Remember that when you're recording your chords through the MIDI keyboard, sometimes the score may not show exactly what you need to show within your recording. So sometimes you might need to edit the notes slightly to suit your needs. So this tutorial isn't taken up too much with my editing. I'm going to speed up the video so you can see the editing process within 20 seconds. So let's go. Okay, so I've edited the 4-chord progression to my liking. The top C note here, I might make that a middle C note as a final edit to my C chord. So our 4-chord progression is starting to look a lot neater now. So the next thing that I will do is I will copy this. So I've just gone Command C, but I can go Edit and then copy up the top. And I'm just going to copy this loop, highlight my guitar track and then press Paste. So I just went Command V then for Paste. Make sure that when you're pasting your loops, you always put the play head where you need it to go before you go Command V or Edit Paste. So what I've just done on the screen here for the guitar part is just deleted the bass notes there, just so it has a nice high-pitched treble sound with the guitar. And our bass instrument is going to be playing those bass notes anyway. So let's create a new track and we'll change this instrument to a bass instrument. So we'll click on bass, then fingerstyle bass. And we're going to copy our piano track or loop, and we're going to make sure that we put our playhead at the beginning, highlight our track, and Command V to paste. So we've got another loop there that we can edit. So I'm just going to double click on this and we're going to go to our score and we're going to shift and highlight. So shift click, highlight all these notes and just press delete on the Mac. And then what we're left with is our bass notes C, A, F, G in our bass track. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick listen to it. So we now have our three instruments, piano, guitar and bass, ready for editing and copying our loops so we can create more of a song. So what we're going to do is copy our first two tracks for piano and guitar, and we're going to paste these loops up until the end of bar 12. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to make our bass part sound a little bit more interesting, but we're going to record this via the musical typing function. Now I've made sure I place the playhead at the end of bar 4. And we'll just go Windows, Show Musical Typing. Then the next thing we're going to do is to play C, A, F, G, but add in a little bit of a rhythm there so it makes it sound a bit more interesting. So let's record. So there is a slight delay there because of the screen recording, but if you make a mistake you can always edit the notes within your score or the piano roll if you need. The final step that we're going to do is add in a drum loop that is going to be playing behind our piano, guitar and bass tracks there. So we're going to find a drum loop of choice and then drag it into a new track. So we're going to use this one. Okay, so I've just dragged the classic rock beat onto the tracks over there and it's created its own new track. So what I'm going to do is just copy this loop and I'll move my playhead where I want it to go and highlight my track so it copies and pastes onto there, and I'm just pressing Command V. So I've got at least 12 bars there of the rock beat behind my 4-chord progression on the piano, guitar and bass. Okay, so we have our completed project here of our 4-chord progression of C, A minor, F, G. I'm just going to edit my levels slightly to my preferred settings. I like to have the bass a little bit louder than the piano and guitar. And we're just going to save our project, so I just save it in the GarageBand folder. So it's always good to make sure you save your work as soon as you can. And I'll just save it as 4-chord progression in C major, as we've used the chords C, A minor, F, G. And there you have it, our saved project. Creating the same chord progression of C, A minor, F and G on the iPad version of GarageBand can be a lot simpler as you have access to smart instruments. So what I'm going to show you is how to record on smart keyboard, smart guitar and smart bass the 4-chord progression we just did in the iPad version of GarageBand. So on the screen here, I've got C chord, A minor chord, F chord, and G chord. So as you can see on the screen here, I've already selected rhythm 1 of the autoplay function. So let's record our 4-chord progression. So we'll go back to our track view within GarageBand on the iPad, and we're going to select our plus symbol down the bottom left hand corner to create a new track. So we're going to create our guitar part. Within the Smart Guitar instrument track, we're going to record the same chords on rhythm 2 in our autoplay function. So the same chords: C, A minor, F, and then G. So let's record that 4-chord progression. And we'll head back to the screen with both our piano and guitar track, and you can see that it's been recorded there as 2 separate loops. So we're now going to record our 4-chord C, A minor, F, G progression in our Smart Bass instrument. So we're going to do the same thing where we will set our autoplay to rhythm 1 and record C, A minor, F and G. The final step we need to do is add in our drum loop. So I'm going to use the Smart Drums function, and we're going to just roll the dice within the Smart Drums and have a random beat selected for us. So let's roll the dice. And once we're happy with our loop that we want to record, we'll press record. What we can do is we can change this beat halfway through the recording if we want. So we'll roll the dice again. And there you have it. So we have our 8-bar loop of our drums ready to go, and our C, A minor, F, G chord progression is complete. Next tutorial 7, we'll be covering how to add a melody in a woodwind or brass instrument that will go with your C, A minor, F, G chord progression that you've just learnt how to do in GarageBand on the iMac and iPad. So stay tuned for tutorial 7, and thanks for your time.